At age 29, Marina Cole lay motionless in a quiet hospital room in Queens. The sterile air pressed down on her chest, heavy and unforgiving, while a monitor beside her marked time with soft, steady beeps. Just hours earlier, she had given birth to 3 premature babies. Her body was drained from labor, her muscles trembling with exhaustion, her thoughts fragile and unfocused. Still, she clung to one simple hope, that her husband would walk through the door and remind her she was not alone. Instead, Evan Cole entered like a stranger. He did not rush. He did not smile. His eyes avoided the bassinets lined neatly against the wall. He spoke without warmth, his tone sharp and efficient, as if he had arrived for a transaction rather than a moment that would define their lives. A thick envelope landed on the bed with a dull sound. Divorce papers. He told Marina to sign them immediately. He called her a liability, a complication he had not planned for. He spoke of motherhood not as a miracle, but as an interruption to his ambitions. Still weak, Marina lifted herself slightly and asked Evan to stay. She gestured toward their children, their tiny chests rising and falling in fragile rhythm, and reminded him that they needed a father. Evan laughed, a short, dismissive sound that cut deeper than anger. He said the babies were her mistake, a burden he never agreed to carry. Then he revealed the truth he had been hiding for months. Tiffany was downstairs. She was polished, connected, confident. Her family had influence that mattered in the rooms Evan wanted access to. Evan spoke of love like currency, calculating value and return. Tiffany's father could accelerate his career overnight. Marina, he said, offered nothing but obligation. In his mind, marriage was no longer partnership. It was leverage, and leverage, once it stopped being useful, was discarded. When Evan left, the room felt unbearably large. Marina forced herself off the bed, her legs shaking as she moved toward the bassinets. Each step was painful, but she refused to stop. She knelt beside her sleeping babies and finally broke, pressing her hand over her mouth to silence her sobs. The pain went deeper than betrayal. It was fear of surviving alone, fear of protecting 3 fragile lives, fear of facing a future stripped of certainty. In that silence, Marina understood something irreversible had ended. The woman who waited to be chosen was gone. What remained was a mother who had no choice but to stand. A gentle knock interrupted the stillness. An elderly man entered, his posture composed, followed by several lawyers in dark suits. Marina recognized him instantly. Harold, the butler who once served her family before she disappeared from that world. He knelt respectfully and addressed her by name, a name tied to a life she believed she had lost. His words carried weight. Her father had passed away 3 days earlier. Before his death, he had rewritten his will entirely. Every share, every property, every trust now belonged to Marina. A lawyer confirmed the details calmly. Marina was now the majority owner of the Colcrest Group and the sole beneficiary of an estate valued near $5 billion. The power Evan had chased through others now rested fully in her hands. The inheritance did not bring joy. It brought clarity. Marina requested immediate transfer to private medical care for her children. When the divorce papers caught her eye again, she tore them apart without hesitation. Grief did not disappear, it hardened into focus. She contacted top legal counsel and established boundaries that could not be negotiated. Evan had chosen distance and ego. If he wanted separation, she would define its terms. Her priority became absolute: the safety, stability, and future of her children. That night, Marina reviewed a sealed file from her legal team. Inside were records tracing a quiet stream of capital into Evan's startup, Northline Labs. For years, Marina had been the unseen investor, keeping the company alive through lawful intermediaries. Each crisis had been softened by her support, each risk absorbed silently. Seeing it clearly now, Marina signed a single authorization terminating all funding and calling in obligations. Evan's success collapsed into truth. It had never been independent. It had been sustained by the woman he dismissed. With funding withdrawn, Marina moved precisely. Loans were recalled, banks revised credit exposure, suppliers demanded cash, Northline Labs entered a rapid free fall. Tiffany, who promised rescue through charm and influence, offered only pressure. Their alliance fractured publicly as comfort disappeared. Marina watched from a distance, unmoved. This was not revenge, it was consequence, unfolding exactly as written in contracts Evan never read. Desperate, Evan gambled everything on a closed real estate auction, convinced insider information would save him. A quiet bidder exceeded his offer at the final moment. The gavel fell. That evening, at an elite New York gala, Marina appeared as chairwoman of the Colacrest Group. Her presence slowed the room. Evan recognized her too late. When he tried to approach, Marina corrected him once, politely, publicly, and firmly. Boundaries were established without drama. His loss was complete. Cornered, Evan and Tiffany shifted tactics. They filed a custody claim, pushing a narrative designed to shame and intimidate. Marina remained silent publicly. Behind the scenes, her team documented everything. At mediation, Evan exposed himself. On record, he agreed to abandon custody in exchange for money. In court, Marina's evidence spoke clearly. The ruling was decisive. Evan lost all parental rights. Marina walked away focused only on peace. This story is not about money. It is about responsibility. Power without character collapses, and real strength is choosing peace over revenge.